Hey guys, it is Christine. Welcome to another video here on my channel. I'm putting in a disclaimer. You may hear all kinds of noise in this video. I've tried very hard to get my kids to be quiet and it is not happening today. So if you hear weird background noises, that's what it is. They're outside playing with the dog right now, so it's noisy. Today I am going to be doing an update on our term 2. So if you're new, I am Christine, a homeschooling mom of 3. My kids are 6, 4, and 2 years old, and I'm a second generation homeschooler. I share all sorts of homeschool content here on my channel, so if that interests you, please go ahead and subscribe and stick around for our term 2 update. I did a term 1 update, which I will link for you here, and for the most part, term 1 went really, really well for us. Unfortunately, there were some life circumstances that disrupted things at the end and made things a bit tricky. But you know, we love homeschooling for the flexibility that it gives and the opportunity and mindset of just learning through life. So go and check that update out if you want to know how our first term went. But today I want to chat to you about term 2, and we have 1 day left of this term, but I don't think anything overly drastic is going to happen between now and then. So I feel like it's pretty safe to update you all on how it has gone. So, we have changed a little bit with curriculum. We started off pretty good. I'll admit that I struggled to get back into homeschooling at the end of term 1. So, if you haven't watched my first video, I had a miscarriage at the end of our term 1, and that obviously disrupted a lot of things, and there's a lot of emotional turmoil, and it was pretty hard to get back into homeschooling, but I also knew that I needed to do it because I needed like a purpose to my days, if that makes sense, like just to start moving forward. And so it was good. Like, we did our school, we enjoyed it. We started our next read alouds and they went really well. So we did Winnie the Pooh, the 2 Winnie the Pooh books, chapter books this term, and we also did, what was the name of it? It's not the Enchanted Tree. Was it the Enchanted Woods? Anyway, it's the second one in that series from Enid Blyton, and my kids loved it. So that series has been such a major hit in our home, and we'll actually be starting the next book for our 3rd term. And for next term, we're going to be doing Mr. Popper's Penguins for our 2nd read aloud. So read alouds went really, really well. We continued using things like I Am the Seed That Grew the Tree, which is a poetry book with a nature poem for every day of the year. It's also known as Sing a Song of Seasons. So they're the same book, they just have a different cover. So we've enjoyed all of that. And we continued with A Year of Tales, which I've talked about extensively, so I'll try and link a video for you here. You can go and check out what that is. But we use that for like art, picture study, and poetry, and nature study, and all that kind of stuff, all of the beautiful enrichment. And then we also continued with everything else. I don't think we changed a heck of a lot. The one thing that I did end up changing was language arts, and we haven't really changed, we've just paused. So we've been using the Good and the Beautiful language arts this year thus far, and it's worked really, really well. But again, we were kind of getting to a point where I was finding my son wasn't enjoying it, and he was really it was a struggle to get through every lesson, and I just didn't feel like he was getting enough practice on the concepts that he was learning. And so we've gone back to all about reading. We stopped at lesson 26 or 7, I don't know, 20 something last year, and then went back to the Good and the Beautiful, and now we're pausing the Good and the Beautiful again and going back to all about reading. And that was actually a really good decision. That's worked very, very well. They're basically very, very close, almost at the same point with the concepts that they're teaching. It's just that all about reading goes into a lot more depth, and there's a lot more practice in that. And so that's worked very well for us. And I feel like we might just continue through all about reading and finish that off, and then finish off level K, language arts, from the Good and the Beautiful this year. That's kind of what I'm thinking will happen. I obviously don't know for sure, but if I haven't already posted a video, I will be posting a video comparing the 2, because I know a lot of parents look at the 2, and one is significantly more expensive than the other. So I feel like it is something worth chatting to you guys about. So that's really the only change we made with curriculum. Now, in the last 2 weeks of this term, I ended up dropping basically all of our enrichment studies because I was just feeling really burnt out. And honestly, I'm still struggling emotionally quite a bit after the miscarriage. It kind of comes in waves, and I'll be fine for a couple weeks, and then I'm not okay for a couple weeks and stuff. So I gave myself permission to drop those things because I also realized that if I'm struggling through it, my kids really struggle to enjoy it as well. And then what is the point? Like there's no point in just doing it for the sake of doing it. You have to do it to enjoy it and to learn something from it, especially with enrichment studies, And so I just decided that it's fine. We can just stop it for the last 2 weeks and just enjoy school. And so we cut right back to just doing reading, handwriting, and math. And then I also kept the science curriculum from Simply Charlotte Mason, because that's only like once a week we're doing that, and that's very, very quick and easy. So I cut everything right back, and I'm so glad that I did, because it just gave me an opportunity to enjoy homeschool, to have some slower mornings, because we've also had sickness in the house. My kids have all had colds. My youngest was sick with like a tummy bug. It was just, I was not getting much sleep at all for a solid week, and so I was not coping very well during the days. I do not do well with sleep deprivation. And it's funny because obviously when you have a newborn, you wake up all of the time to get up to feed them. But when you're so used to sleeping through the night again, it's like a shock to the system to go back to that. So anyway, the last 2 weeks were just a bit crazy. We've had different family circumstances, nothing bad. It's just been a lot. Like, a lot has happened this term. I feel like a lot has happened this year for my family and my extended family as well. We're all very close. And so, just lots of life circumstances that have disrupted the schedule a little bit and made us be a bit more flexible, which is fine. So I think that's all there really is to update on. Annie is doing, that's my 4-year-old, is doing letters and numbers from Gather Round, and we're thoroughly enjoying that program. That's all I am doing with her, and it is working beautifully. I'm doing a video on that pretty soon too, a flip through video. I have done like a overview of it, which I can link for you here. We're actually on to the second book now. And yeah, I have plans for her for next year, for letters, using not letters and numbers, but the Ready to Read program that comes afterwards, along with All About Reading. So we'll see how that goes, but that's kind of what I'm thinking we'll do for her next year. She'll be 5, so actually she'll be almost 5.5 when we start next year, so it feels like that'll be a good fit. But I think that's all I have to update you on. If you do have any questions for me that you feel like I should have talked about or whatever, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
World had more of your smile. What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach every